It is Spectator, Spider-Man, like a cartoon. Doesn't really work because Spectator has one less syllable than spectacular. This is issue 206, the conclusion to the story with Tombstone. And it has a cover that is one of them ones that is almost iconic, but people didn't really remember. We have Tombstone, and he is holding Spider-Man's mask. And this has been redone a few times. There was a Dead Pills comic with Tombstone, and it was riffing on this with Dead Pills' mask instead of Spider-Man's. In my opinion, this is a great cover, and maybe it will feature on a covers video if I can ever be asked to record 2 videos in one day again. Tombstone, he is going to war with all the local gangs, and he has just beaten up Black Cat and apparently drowned Spider-Man, and he is really proud of it. And so we have a little bit of a second go at Black Cat fighting Tom. And last time I said that this guy here is 94, and he is such a crap superhero that he has accidentally fallen in with the Manhattan Mafia. And I was not expecting this issue to validate that theory even more, because here he tries to shoot Black Cat, and instead it's his boss, just like 94 would. He also lost his goatee between the issues, and he is black in some panels. So then Black Cat, she goes for a swim, but she's not just exercising because she saves Spider-Man from drowning. And we have a really cute bit where Black Cat lets Spider-Man borrow a mask. It is ruddy adorable. These two should just get married already, or at least technically married while impersonating mobsters, and still be technically married to each other by the end. We have some suburban romance with Peter Parker and Mary James, and more noteworthy, Mary James's sexy leg pulls. Sexy leg pulls. Yes, please. This is my second recording of this video, because the first one I'd made talking about shoving things up my arse far too much. So now Spider-Man and Black Cat, they start fighting Tombstone and the Mafia, and it is great stuff. This is a solid story arc. If you read them Tombstone issues in Gary Conman's run, if you like them, I recommend these. These are a very worthwhile follow-up. Tombstone is still impressive and intimidating, even though he has a terrible fashion sense. But this is a brilliant fight. We have this amazing visual sequence with Tombstone jumping off a building with Spider-Man, intending to crush him against the ground. But Spider-Man does the obvious remedy to that, which is to shift around so that he is the one who is on top instead of Tom. But even after Impact, it doesn't really faze Tom, so they keep fighting. See, I didn't mind talking through action if it's like that. I think this was very well done visually. It was dramatic and exciting. It's not just me ganning. So then Tom punches Spider-Man and Spider-Man webs up Tom's feet. I didn't mind spotlighting a little bit like this that I think is an effective scene. Part of the thing with Tombstone is that he is a brick shithouse, so Spider-Man cannot really just punch him a few times and beat him. He is an actual physical challenge for Spider-Man. But sometimes Spider-Man, he can look out and Tombstone will have physically exerted himself so much that he has a sudden heart attack. We end with some drama between Spidey and Felicity, and down here we have a rewritten bit. I didn't actually point it out in this take, but I pointed it out in the shoving things up my arse take, that there was another bit earlier on in this issue that was also clearly re-lettered. Basically, if you didn't know what that means, this speech bubble here, what Felicity is saying, the lettering sticks out like a sore thumb because it doesn't quite match the rest. Sometimes in a comic, you have bits where the writing is a different style or the spacing is different, and that is because whatever was originally there was replaced afterwards. For this one, it is the case that the speech bubble itself has a lot of extra space at the bottom. This was the shape that fit the original text and not this replacement one. I am thinking I might have an idea what was rewritten. This is speculation, but I reckon originally, I think they were trying to have Felicity hate Spider-Man more and blame him for what happened with Crash Tompkins. We see in another issue that this writer wanted to explore and deconstruct Spider-Man's friendships before he quit the book 3 issues after this. Maybe he was intending to do some more of that with Felicity and have Felicity start hating Spider-Man, but it got rewritten to either compensate for the fact that this direction was no longer happening since the writer quit, or maybe because statements were demonising Spider-Man too much. If that was the case, I am happy with this rewrite. I didn't want them at odds with each other. Spider-Man and Black Cat, they were the first couple I ever shipped. And I am fine with Peter Parker and Mary James being married. But I didn't want Felicity to not be his friend and hate him. But this is honestly a good Spider-Man story. I like it. I am a bit upset that we didn't actually have the big Crash Tompkins scene in this one, because that is the other notable bit from this brief run, and I didn't think I have the 3 or 4 other issues because they are not very good. Although through no fault of the writer, I think this 3-parter is good stuff. He wrote a strong story here. Shame he didn't get to write more. I recommend it. 7 thumbs up.